we did see people being arrested, and this is in relation to the ongoing anti-corruption marches in Uganda, where a group of people have planned to move, that is, to parliament. But yesterday we did see these events taking a new twist. Yes, this is why am I saying that? I'm saying that because we are able to see now a new tactic being developed by the new, by the protesters, where we saw people going nude. That means we saw people going naked, but they were able to be arrested and also now paraded before the courts of law. And that's also why we did see that happening where in Buganda Road Chief Magistrate's Court in Kampala, where at least 3 people were remanded. This is to Luzira prison for staging nude protests also at Parliament, where they were seen also marching really without clothes on, except panties. Really, that is how we did see them going nude. And that's also where we did see them calling for the resignation of the Speaker of this Parliament, that is also the Right Honorable Anita Bong, and also they called for also them to resign because of corruption. We did see them also calling for Nora Kobusingye, and they identified as Nora Kobusingye, Praise Anokolin, and also the Komitoma Jobuziba, who appeared before the Chief Magistrate, that's Roland Kaizi, who also remanded them to prison until September 12th. That is also on charges of being common nuisance, contrary to section, that is 148 subsection 1 of the Penal Code Act. That is how we did see them also being charged under that law in there. But now they denied also really the offenses, and we are remanded also after failing to present substantial sureties to secure them court bail in there now. That is something we did see happening, but really the question also that runs in my mind is, why can't we allow people exercise their constitutional mandate if at all this initiative is really a legal one? That is where sometimes I feel we need to also really understand that this is a legal thing that needs also that needs attention. But how do we make sure that such issues also really that also happen in the country do not also really make people feel their rights are being violated? Because if you look at the issues that happened yesterday, when it comes to the issues of these anti-corruption marches, you will realize that a lot of women also came out to also condemn, because the way these ladies were arrested were actually brutal. And by yesterday evening, we were able to see photos circulating on social media of how these women were actually being arrested, and somebody could say it was in a way that is quite embarrassing and also really harassing, which is really a violation of the rights as well, because we were able to see police officers, more so the women, abandoning this women group also in there, and that is how we did see them also being arrested and taken, that is also to police in there. But that is how we did see them also later on being paraded before the courts of law. But how do we allow such initiatives to go on? Because if you look at the anti-corruption also marches, you will really say that it is our constitutional mandate as a country, because each and every citizen has a right to demonstrate if at all he or she feels something is not going right in this country. But how do we allow people exercise their rights, that is also peaceful, also marching in there? Because there are a lot of issues that have been also emerging as a result of corruption, and that is how we shall be joined also by the Lord Mayor of by the Mayor of Arua City, sorry, that is His Excellency, that is Zaid Kemis, who will be joining us shortly from now, where we shall be discussing issues also in relation to corruption scandal that is in Kenya Ward in there, and I will be joining, letting him also come on board shortly, but where we shall be discussing issues in relation to the corruption scandal that we recently saw happening in Kenya Ward, which has today taken a new twist, where people have taken to also politicize the whole event. But we are saying all in all, it is not right to actually politicize this event, because if you look at corruption, corruption affects the nation all, and that's why today when these issues of corruption are happening, many people do not also really feel happy about the trend that this is taking place, how it is taking place now in Central Division, because you look at also the issues also that happen with green governance. Many of the times, people tend to politicize everything, and you see after a short while, people are rioting. But why do we see riots happening? Why don't we also unite, be it opposition, be it as a stakeholder, be it as anybody? Why don't we say enough is enough when it comes to corruption? Because you look at really the way corruption is also affecting this nation, you will learn that it is not affecting only one person. Each and every person out there is being affected by this vice. But how do we allow this happen when we also are keeping quiet? And that is how we are going to be also discussing that later on. Now, second hour, where he will be joining us at exactly 8. But for now, we are still moving on, and we need to also really understand that these issues are happening in Kenya Ward may be happening elsewhere in the rest, or in the other world, also without our notice in there, because we need to also make sure that what is happening in Pangisha is known, what is happening in Awindiri Ward is known. We need to assess, we need to have an impact assessment of how corruption has been also really eating up also the region, because if you look at corruption within PDM, you will realize that many people are actually being affected by that vice. Many people are left out. The real beneficiaries could be left out just because somebody is there to also oversee that also their relatives benefit, because we are able to hear testimonies of over 10 family members benefiting from that. Yet this is against the guidelines and the rules of the parish development model, and that is how we did see it also taking a new trend. But now we have seen the whole scenario being politicized, where people are now coming up to also say certain leaders are being also used. And yet this could not be the reality, because if you look at the issues of corruption, really to my dismay, in Central Division, it is taking a new trend, which is not right. That is how we shall be expecting the mayor to also come and explain what exactly is happening in Central Division, his division where these scandals are happening, and what exactly he has done to make sure this does not go on. And all that is to hold him accountable, because as media, our mandate is to hold the leaders accountable, be it who. We need to also make sure that nothing bad happens, because we are to be there as the eyes of the masses. And as the masses, in case we need information from you, feel free to let us know, because we may not be in position to also understand what exactly is happening within your areas. It is only you now to let us know what exactly is happening, because if you don't tip us off, we may not be in position to investigate and also really understand whatever is happening within your areas. That discussion also will be coming at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9. He will be also here with also one of the LC1 chairpersons to make us understand what is really happening down there, because if you look at what's happening down there, many of the people are now losing trust. The real beneficiaries on the internet, also those seeking to actually benefit from this, may not be in position to also get the monies, and now they are also losing trust in everybody, and losing trust first of all in the government, and then losing trust in the leaders, because some few individuals could be taking advantage of the whole scenario to also benefit for themselves in there. And that's how we are going to be leaving that discussion aside. And we hope also really that discussion also really still will be adding something, where as the viewer still, you will be in position to also share your thoughts and share your opinions with us. And leaving that aside, yesterday we were able to also really receive the police also confirmation on, that's in relation to the warning that was given by the US Embassy over the weekend when it comes to also the issues of security alert. That means if at all we are to also live peacefully, then we need to be watchful of our surroundings, because we did see also the confirmation coming out recently about the really risks of that terror attacks. That means we need to be very cautious of whatever is living within our areas, of whatever is being placed in our vicinity, because if you see somebody coming up with a bag and just placing the bag and leave, then you shouldn't also really be very, very much quick to think that you are going to be benefiting from this bag. Somebody has forgotten the bag, because sometimes we also really are very, very much, I don't know how, we are very much desperate. Sometimes you see somebody placing a bag, you think Laylatul Qadr has already hit you, and you are going to be taking this bag and making money out of that. But I'm saying to you, this May, that could be actually the time you are going to grieve and visit God. Just like that. That's why we're saying, if you see somebody placing a bag, you do not also really understand, do not rush quickly to also really pick it. This goes to my fellow youth out there. We need to avoid tendencies, because if it's something also really very much unsuspicious being placed, let's find alternatives of reporting. First of all, the LC1 chairpersons, then secondly, let's inform police, because if you don't inform police, then at the end of the day, when these bombs also blast, and then we are going to be the one at risk of also dying. That means our relatives are also going to be affected by that, and yet we could actually avoid that. We should not think that we are going to be getting money just like that. That means when we see things, this goes to you freely, sometimes we find bags being placed on the streets. People want to see what is in there. Yet people are not security experts also really maybe. That means if at all we are to find any bag being placed, please let's take the initiative of rushing out to report this to the nearest government officials, who in this case are the LC1 chairpersons, and then let's inform police to make sure that these things are first of all checked and also really found out, because if at all it is really a bomb, then it may be the duty of the security agencies to find out on what exactly to do. That is what we did see also happening over the weekend, where we were able to also receive terror alert That is also from also the outside government in there. But now we did see business moving on very well in Kampala. That means we have not heeded also this call in there. But business yesterday was ongoing very well. That is also following the U.S. Embassy's also terror alert issued over the weekend. But in the alert, we were able to also see embassies also say they have unconfirmed reports that there are also increased risk of terror attacks in Kampala, and also urged its citizens living in the country, in the capital city of Kampala, to also be very much vigilant and also ensure increased caution when it comes to also public spaces. We need to also be vigilant and find out what exactly these people are. Because if it's somebody also whom you do not know reaching any vicinity, it is really not a crime to also say, I'm not trusting this person needs to be investigated. It is actually your duty as a citizen to actually make sure that you report to police so that police can carry out thorough investigations onto these people who are out there in there. And that's something we did see happening, and the warning came through over the weekend, and yesterday we were able to also see police coming out to confirm on that in their weekly also the press briefings in there. Well, that's why we did see also the police PRO, that is Mr. Rusoke Chituma, yesterday revealing that also they had come up with measures to increase on vigilance also within Kampala, and that's also where they are going to be monitoring areas to make sure that nothing wrong happens and to the citizens now in the taxi parks and bus parks. Passengers we are seeing boarding normally without also already ensuring what the SOPs in relation to the bomb attacks. But I want to say we need to also be very much vigilant, though the bus companies may not be in position to actually ensure that there is vigilance, but as a citizen, as a passenger, the duty is entirely in your hands to make sure that nothing bad happens to you, because if at all you're not also checking yourselves, then when these bombs blast, it is us to go, and also it may also be us to leave the world in there. But now some of the city dwellers, they also whom they also checked on, we say they are not aware of the terror alert. That means people are not actually in the know of this terror alert. That means the government needs to come out and sensitize the locals, who in this case, in most cases are the traders, and those also within the city centers, to make sure they get to understand that indeed there's a bomb terror attack, because in most cases we have seen these alerts coming, and in the end we see them actualizing. That means sometimes this bomb or terror alerts will not just come like that. That means we need to ensure that we also heed to this call of ensuring vigilance also within our vicinities in there. Because we may be talking about being in Kampala, never knowing also the same scenario could be happening in a rural city, because today, just like Kampala, we are a new city, and we are a city today, and that means anything that happens in Kampala may likely to also happen in a rural city. And today, with also the ongoing health institutional games, the numbers are quite increasing. That means we need to ensure vigilance. And my humble appeal to the security agencies is that they need to also beef up the security in these public gatherings spaces, for instance, the football pitches, and also where these games are ongoing, because at the end of the day, we may also see bad things happening, which may not be right. That means we need to also ensure thorough caution, also measures also being being put into consideration. First of all, checking through whoever is to come to these spaces, and the learners themselves need to be checked. So really, when bad things happen, they do not happen to our learners. At the end of the day, we need to ensure that we are safe, because once we're not safe, then we may see bad things also happening in there. Mr. Solomon Nsimire, the chairperson also of Uganda Bus Owners Association, said the members have been instructed to check the passengers following the terror alert, and that means we need to ensure that whoever is to board these buses is actually safe and in the know of what is happening. And now, addressing journalists yesterday in Kampala, Mr. Rusoke, the police PRO, called upon Ugandans and business owners not to relax any security measures put up in place, so that nobody is actually left in danger in the now. Mr. Rusoke also asked people to report any suspicious items dropped in public spaces, just like the bags, to make sure that nothing wrong happens also in there. And that's where we did see Uganda also in the recent also suffered terror attacks, including also those from the Democratic Forces, Allied Democratic Forces, a terror group also that caused the terror in also the country also today, which also is said to be hiding in the DRC. That means we need to be very much cautious. And having been targeting also soft spots such as bars, trucks, schools, and roadside markets since 2014, the rebel group is said to also being accused of killing more than 200 people in 30 terror attacks in between also 2001 and to date in Uganda. That means we are not safe from this also terror attacks, which may also risk our lives in there. That means we need to also hit this demand by also the United States Embassy that is in Kampala to make sure that nothing wrong happens to us. And as the citizens, also nothing bad and could also happen to us, also to make sure that at least nothing also really happens to our loved ones. That is how we did see also happening in that. But yesterday, also leaving that story aside, we were able to also really see the story of the Chinatown store, which also stole the show with cheap products. And that also somebody was able to say that Ugandans indeed love cheap things. But I was able to also see this big shop accommodating over hundreds and hundreds of people who came for shopping in there. But what really struck my attention is that people were in numbers to actually buy things at affordable prices. And as a city, I must say these opportunities are not for us. We do not have that. But we are able to also see in Kampala hundreds and hundreds of people benefiting from buying cheap products. But what are the repercussions of buying cheap products? These are questions only somebody could be asking, because I may be in position to buy something cheap, but is this thing genuine? That is the question solely we need to ask ourselves now. But we're able to solely see very many people coming in Kampala to actually buy products ranging from also clothes, accessories, and many other products from the China also shop that also is operating cheaply. And we were able to, the police also yesterday, we are forced to close the newly opened Chinatown superstores. A new Chinese also store after several Ugandans visited the place to buy themselves also cheap merchandise, and we were able to see police also coming to close. But Mr. Daniel Akwangate, the head of marketing and store at the facility, said many of the clients were not also thronging their stores, but also TikTok influencers who were able to also move also to make sure they record themselves in this facility in there. But really, how do you move not to buy something, but also to make sure that you get the followers? That is only where we are seeing influencers taking advantage of everything. We are able to also see videos of themselves being also circulated. That is on TikTok and also the other media platforms. That's also to show us what exactly is happening in the China store. But I want to say, what really do Ugandans want? Because we are able to see many Ugandans are thronging that facility to buy things for themselves. But others, we are just to record videos of themselves at the facility. What kind of excitement is that? Really, we are able to see very much also people coming on board to make sure they buy things for themselves. But really, the confirmations that we did see is that police came out now, closed the newly opened facility. Now the new store, which opened also at the former supermarket in Lugogo, at the weekend also the main days in home appliances that include Chinese electronics, fabrics and kitchenware, sports equipment, furniture, television sets, and crockery, among others, which also are being sold at cheap prices. And that is one thing also which Ugandans love so much in there. But surprisingly, the items are being sold at giveaway prices, which also are far less than also the actual price downtown. And this also attracted very many people to actually buy these products at this affordable price, because many times we Ugandans love what we call affordable prices. I wouldn't want to call them cheap prices, but we want affordable prices. Could it be because we do not have the monies? But after being duped, that's when you hear stories of Chinese people complaining that Chinese sell fake products. But really, yet when we are running to this facility, we do not also think about the fake products. Only that happens when we buy also fake products in there. Now, when also the facility was visited, Lugogo yesterday also found out 2 long queues of Ugandans of all age groups also struggling to access the store. And inside the shop also we have potential customers doing window shopping, while others also we are shopping. Unlike the typical Ugandan supermarket, where the shelves are also usually dominated by local processed and manufactured agricultural products in Chinatown, the shelves also we are strictly also selling electronics, kitchenware, sports equipment, and other activities. And this means also the foodstuffs also were not part of this activity. And this reminds me of what we used to call the black markets during also the Fridays and also at the end of the month on Jumia. But really in Kampala, I remember that is how people used to go and buy things more so towards the end of the year. But this is coming also in the middle of the year. But really, are these products genuine? That's where I ask myself this early morning. Mr. Ahmed Matovu, an importer also of decorative lights and chandeliers, also said the lights are being sold at low cost, as cheap as 145,000 compared to the also downtown prices of, that is shillings 300,000. And that's something also we did start happening in there. And when asked why Uganda and other products from East Africa community member states are not also on their list of cheap products, Mr. Akangwet said the manufacturers have not taken their products to the store. but also their system also that does not allow that also happen, which is directly linked to Uganda Revenue Authority receipting, and also IFRI system rejected them because they did not have IFRI targets. And that means also many people were actually left out because also they were not on IFRIS, which is also the electronic also system of collecting taxes, and that means they also were left out in there. But really, how do we benefit from such initiatives? This goes to the Ugandans. If we have such opportunities of the markets, if you look at the heavy market story that is happening in there, but why don't we benefit and tap in such opportunities? That is where also sometimes we are left out as Ugandans when it comes to certain opportunities in there. Now, Miss Gloria Peace Namiro, one of the shoppers, also said she saw a post on TikTok and she went to confirm also how low the prices were. That means she was able to be attracted by the influencers. And Mr. Brian Mashoki, a plumber who went shopping with his wife, said the cost also of plumbing materials that also he bought from the store and hairdressing materials his wife purchased would have also cost them over 400,000. Instead, they parted also at 200,000 for the same product sold in there. That means half prices is what exactly happened also during this market also in there. Miss Irene Amuga, a nurse working at also at multipurpose, also 2-liter of orphan blender. Also, she was able to also purchase also for herself some blenders in there, which she said also really we are best and durable market at 65,000. But she was able to buy this cheaply in there. But how do we make sure that such initiatives also really move according to also to the different places? Because at one time, people of northern Uganda would actually need such opportunities, because if you look at also the price of certain products in Uganda, more so northern Uganda, you will find out that they are slightly higher than what is being sold in Kampala or other markets in there. But really, how do you make sure that there's uniform price when it comes to certain prices? I believe also spreading such initiatives, decentralizing them, would actually be very, very much good for each and every citizen out there, and that would actually make it a plus for each and everybody out there to benefit from such initiatives. And that's how we are going to be also following up on that. And we did see also the Casita coming out to also comment on this. And when asked also to comment about the chief Chinese products in the market and unfair also the competition, Mr. Isa Sexto, the spokesman of Kampala City Traders Association, said he wasn't also aware of it, and neither was Dr. Ezra Rubanda, the executive director also for Uganda Manufacturers Association, also really wasn't in the know of these cheap prices. That means we need to also make sure and we benefit from that, because if we not also benefit from that, then definitely we may be in a position to also miss out certain opportunities in there. And now, as we get to summarize this hour with what's happening in the world of politics, Army Court also now is start hearing a case against Noob security head next month. That means the man is still behind the bars for yet another period of about 1 month also in there, where he will be also behind bars following also his arrest in there. Now, investigation into the case of unlawful possession of defense stores against the civilian, also the head of security of the opposition National Republican Party, Mr. Chileo Chivumbi, are now complete, and this is according to information from the state. And investigations to the case in which the civilian head of security at the opposition National Republican Party, also Mr. Chileo Chivumbi, is accused of unlawful possession of defense stores. Also, that's we did see that also information being said to be complete. But now, how do we also make sure that this investigation does not take long? Because in most cases we say justice delayed is justice denied. And now the man is going to be in prison for yet another month. But yet the state has confirmed that investigation to the matter are now complete. Now we see Brigadier General Mugabe consequently set October 8th as the date also to begin also with hearing the case, while September 17th for the hearing that is of Chivumbe's bail application. And after Monday court proceedings, Mr. Joel Sonyosol, the leader of opposition parliament, described the case as political and told journalists that they are against the idea of Army Court trying civilians. Yet also the Constitutional Court also already made it pronouncement on the same as being also really illegal, because if you look at the court, that's also the legal fraternity, where sometimes we also see people being subject to the court martial, which is really, really wrong, according to also Mr. Joel Sonyosol in there, because he feels that civilians should be tried also in civilian courts rather than also being tried in the military courts, where also really which is also not right, because sometimes what happens in there, civilians may not also be happy about it. Mr. Senyuso, who was as the Nakawa West Member Parliament, has said Chivumbi also had reportedly being questioned about the anti-corruption protest against Parliament. That's something we did see happening in there. But we did see also the state claims that the 2 days after his arrest and taken to security also custody, Chivumbi was on August 3rd of 2024, also at around also 15:03 hours, while at Nansana East B Zone in Nansana Municipality in Wakiso District, found in a lawful possession, that is of a pair also of the Lieutenant Corporal Pips. As said, the Pips was already being gazetted to defense stores, and Mr. Chibumbi, however, denied the allegations, and charges were levied against him there. But that's something we did see happening in there, and we are yet following up on that matter. And when this story also develops, we shall be letting you know, so still, what comes also out of in there. And that's how we are going to be moving on, in ensuring also you as the viewer is informed and also in the know of what exactly is happening within your society and also really across the borders, because we remain committed, first of all, to keep you informed and also really in the know of what is happening also really in your areas in there. And that's how we are going to be moving on. And remember, so many stories also continue to happen in the region. We are also blessed to be also having the sports activities, which also really I feel our people should be able to benefit from. Because by yesterday I was able to move in there, you really find foodstuffs are not being sold. That is also really an opportunity which our people could actually tap into, because these footballers who are coming need food to eat. They need drinks, but really on a sad note, I was in Barifa. Nothing of that sort is happening. That means the opportunity is just going to waste. That means those who are having restaurants, they tap into this opportunity. This opportunity is also of selling food. That is also during these ball games where our people could actually benefit from that. That is where also I want to call upon our people in Warua City, just like how we are talking about also the Chinese store in Kampala. This could actually be our Chinese store. That means for those who are into this business of foodstuffs mainly, I believe there is an opportunity lying in for you there where you could actually benefit from that. That means those who at home there also selling food, rush out to actually benefit from this, because we have so many facilities also really where these games are taking place. We have one in Vara, others Barifa. In golf course, people are playing these soft games, but really how do we make sure that these opportunities do not go just like that? Because if you look at all these facilities, even at the main facility, which is actually the host school, that's at the Royal School of Comprehensive Nursing and Midwifery, you will realize that the mind games are taking place in there. Games like Omweso, games like Ludo, they're taking place from there. And that could actually also really be a point of blessing to each and every person out there. That means we need not to actually let these opportunities just go into waste like that. That is where we are going to be posting with our discussions in this hour. In the second hour, we shall be joined by the Mayor of Central Division, that is Muzaid Kemis, also to tell us what is happening in Kenya Ward in his operation. Also, really, that's also to crack down that's on the errand persons who have been taking advantage of the PDM in there, and that is where we did see a sex for PDM also really very much featuring over the week, where many people were actually to utter so many issues in relation to that. But what really resulted was we were able to see demonstrations also really in relation also to that against some leaders of a rural city, which was really quite unfortunate. And that brings us to the end of the first hour. This is still a KOKOLIRIKO live show on National TV channel 477 and on 003 on Zuku, and online across all the social media platforms where you can be able to watch us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X as well. We are live and we take a short commercial break. I remain Farish Majid.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back into our second hour. We're already 7 minutes after 8 o'clock, and I've been joined by the Mayor, Central Division, that is Musaid Kemis, and one of the councillors that is in Kenya Ward, where we have been witnessing a lot of issues emerging when it comes to the distribution of PDM, which is the Party Development Model of funds. Today we are going to be doing the discussions, and as the viewer, just stay locked because they are going to be answering to your questions on how these PDM funds are being distributed and what exactly caused the scandal that we are able to sort of see emerging in there, which today is taking another twist, which of course we're not going to be discussing it because that is entirely another issue that we shall be discussing another day. But we want to interest ourselves to the party's development funds. How has the distribution been? That is where they will be answering. But first thing first, allow me to introduce them to you to say good morning as we get moving with the show. I want to start with the Mayor. That is Musaid Kemis, the Mayor for Central Division. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, viewers and listeners. My name is Musaid Kemis. I am the Mayor of Arua Central Division, the heart of the city, where PDM has been sectionized.
Okay, that is him. Now I also have Onjima Rashid, Councillor Kenya Ward, where a lot of issues emerged. You're most welcome as well.
Thank you, Moderator. I'm Onjima Rashid, the Councillor of Kenya Ward to Central Division. I also double as the Chairperson, Works Production, Natural Resources, Trade and Industry Committee. And the PDM is basically under production. He's the focal point person of PDM in Central Division.
Okay.
So he sits in my committee.
Okay. Now I want to start with Mayor without wasting any time. What exactly happened? Because we were able to see you rushing up to find out the irregularities that you also characterize the Party Development Model. What were your findings?
Thank you.
Because the issue of sex or PDM featured very much. Many people have been talking about this issue. What exactly happened?
Thank you very much. My brother Faris, we didn't rush, and I did not rush with my committee. I want to have for the viewers the genesis of what happened in Arua City, particularly Central Division, Kenya Ward. I want to have a very big background over it. Pillar 7 of PDM talks of governance and administration. But before that, I am the chairman executive. Executive is the highest arm of the government. Every month, we do executive meeting to check on the various activities of council that has been taking place. In my executive meeting of August, which I did the invitation on 16th of August, and the meeting was held in 20th. In the invitation of that meeting, I had all the department heads, and I zeroed it. I want to have it evidential, because you can have, first you can have a look at this invitation.
Okay.
Yeah? You can have a look at that invitation.
Okay.
Where I have a report from production department. Particularly, I've zeroed it to status of PDM in the Central Division. It was from this report that the production officer presented it to us. That's when we realized there were some errors. From this point, the executive came with the resolution, and I was given a mandate to invite for another meeting. Particularly, this meeting, the invitation of this meeting, the invitation was on 21st. It had the BOC chairpersons, the people who are managing PDC. It had the secretaries of BOC, treasurer of BOC, town clerk, all PDCs. This is the Paris development chairperson.
These are actually whose names featured also really.
Yes, after the report of production officer, who is the department head, who gives a report to executive. I had now on 21st, I had to call for a meeting, which was scheduled on Thursday 22nd in my office. And with all these principal town agents, production officer, city production officer, we disseminated these issues of what is happening. Now, again from here, what prompted us to have another meeting on 22nd, there was invitation that went out, particularly to Town Clerk Central Division, PDC Kenya Ward, all LC1 chairpersons Kenya Ward, all PDM Circle board members in Kenya Ward, DISO, we have Honorable Councillor of Kenya Ward, Production Officer Arua Central, Commercial Officer Arua Central, and then City Production Officer, plus the RCC. This invitation, I gave it to myself on 22nd of August. Because when we had the meeting of 21st, we realized we now began to zero the parishes. The meeting of 21st had all the parishes, board chairpersons being involved. Now, when we reached on the meeting of 22nd, it was only Kenya. When we reached to discuss issues that were happening in Kenya, indeed we realized a lot of irregularities.
Okay.
Number one, the payments were done and procedure. I have the list of beneficiaries here. My brother Farish.
What do you mean by not following the procedures? Because somebody out there may be interested in one.
If a list of beneficiaries is produced like this, we have particular people who are to confirm before payments are made. We have the city commercial officer is supposed to confirm that the list of the beneficiaries here are the right ones. We have the focal point person, Arua City, Dr. Tapan Luke, is supposed to confirm that these are the right beneficiaries. We have PDM focal person, Arua Central Division, is supposed to confirm. And then the town clerk, Arua City, is supposed to authorize the payment.
So in this case, do you want to say that none of them signed?
None of them signed.
Now how did they receive the money? Because we were able to ask somebody, one of the leaders who was also asked, said he signed papers when he was sick.
You see, the monies of PDM are with the board chairperson, whom I invited for meeting.
Okay.
These people are only to do verification and authorization.
Okay.
The monies are with the board chairperson. He has the password of paying this money, not the town clerk. But the procedure says they must first confirm and even do verification of all this. This was one of the mistakes we realized that we wanted to correct. Number two, the right beneficiaries. You know, PDM, Parish Development Road. Every beneficiary of this must come from that parish. He will add more because I descended him to do more investigation.
Okay.
In our first preliminary report, 28 of these people are not from Kenya Ward. I can confirm, I have here that I know personally. Beneficiary number 25, Ibrahim Mansour, does not stay in the Kenya Ward. I know him one-on-one. We have this beneficiary number 50, Atimako Sharon, doesn't stay there. I have a list. This was the second mistake we realized with the PDM in Kenya. Wrong beneficiaries. Number 3, double payment of beneficiaries. This was the third mistake we realized. How? You can see beneficiary number 12, Sauda Bako, is again a beneficiary in the number 47, Sauda Bako. That is why now the technical team, the focal point person, the commercial production officer, these ones needed to do verification of this, and the town clerk even needed to do verification of this. You can see the third mistake, a grave mistake. Number 4, people were called to get this money in one of the hotels there at 10 p.m. People's women, people were receiving, we made this, there was this testimony done.
They were getting PDM because
without PDM at 4 p.m. Somebody's wife within Beta, within Nika. Why do you call somebody's wife Faris? Do we do government work like that? Number 5, my brother, one of the mistakes we realized here was when we went now to do a test on the ground, we started with the prison cell. Out of 9 beneficiaries, we realized that there were only 3. Actually, when I came to 0 again, I realized there were 2 who were from that enterprise group of Kenya, of prison cell. The rest were not there. Now, Because for us as executive, we wanted to move cell by cell and confirm whether these beneficiaries were there. As we were moving, now more and more and more nasty stories started to come.
Okay.
6 extortion. People were collecting money. I had this executive meeting of 26, of 27, 22nd in my office. People came and testified. No one called them. After them realized that there is a serious meeting, people came and testified. So picked money. Where the women were withdrawing the money, a board member was deployed there to collect the money. He even in that meeting, he even stood up. He said, "Yes, I was sent by chairperson PDC to collect the money, and I took the monies to treasurer." He confessed that one. These are not concocted stories. These are realities.
Okay.
These are issues that were on the ground. Coming to this issue of demonstration, by the way, you saw this demonstration here.
Yes.
But
Before we get into there, really the issue of sex for PDM has been there.
yeah,
People have been talking about this. What does this mean?
This was the 6th greatest mistake that we realized in PDM. I didn't want to usher it in. You were there. The media was there. This issue never came from Muzaid Kemis. It never came from Honorable Nchima. It came from the poor beneficiaries who felt that they were marginalized because after the chairpersons asking from them sex, and they said no, they cannot exchange their body with the PDM. They were denied. You see, service was denied to them. This was a reality. You can play that video here and people will watch it. It has gone. People have seen it. And I have 4 of these women who personally came to, women by their nature, they are people who fear. They get stigmatized of that. Anything wrong done to them, they will not come and speak it outside like a man. But I want to thank that brave lady who came out and spoke on behalf of all the women in Uganda, by the way. That issue that happened in Kenya is going to save all women in Uganda. I'm telling you the truth. All women in Uganda are going to be saved by that one lady. And that lady is a hero, like this lady who was from Ethiopia, who was rolling
A sick patient.
a sick patient, who was rolling a sick patient during COVID time. This lady of Kenya actually must be given a gold. Because this event, if we did not discover this, if this lady was not to speak this, I'm already seeing on social media, in the Bududa, we are seeing the issues of extortion. But that did, I saw it on platforms. It means what happened in Kenya, the executive that played their role of Pillar 7, which is governance and administration, has actually helped Uganda in terms of irregularities that are realized in
Let me first bring in Honorable Nzima here. You are supposed to ensure an oversight of what's happening within the PDM, of which people didn't do so. What happened?
Thank you, moderator. Yes, it is one of my cardinal roles as a councillor to oversee all those programs. The PDM was launched in 2022. I think it was the vision of the president to see that the standard of living of Ugandans be raised, because after COVID-19, the purchasing power of all Ugandans come down. Some of the small businesses that Ugandans have are collapsed. So leaving the households in their need of the basic requirements. So it was from there that Easy Vision was transformed into a government agenda to see that all Ugandans at least get 1 million to do something to raise the standard of living, which was a very good move. So it is our mandate, yes, as you have said, as the political leaders, as the local leaders, to see that the Ugandans benefit. Who are these beneficiaries? And where are they coming from? It is very important. This is where we're supposed to come in. Yes, PDM in its structure, we are being put at that level only. There is no stage where we are fully involved. And we also want to get so much involved with the PDM because it is being handled at Paris level.
Okay.
That is the structure of PDM. In Kenya, Kenya would have been the best in terms of distribution of the PDM activities in Central Division.
How did the event stand now?
First of all, PDM we have now received the three disbursements from government. The first one was 116 million, where 116 beneficiaries got money.
All this from Kenya Ward, according to your confirmation.
Per ward, every parish gets 100, and in Central Division, every ward at first got 116 million per ward. So Kenya Ward got the same. So 116 beneficiaries were given money.
Okay.
It was very smooth, and Kenya Ward was the first to get money, and they worked perfectly, and it was the best.
Okay.
I think it is from this angle that we didn't so much involve ourselves now, because we knew it is going well. The matches, there were some irregularities that we called the PDCs, and we sought them. And the Kenya Ward was doing the best. And the second disbursement was 50 million. The 50 million was also went well, was given to the beneficiaries. It was from the last disbursement of 50 million that we realized there was a problem. I was called by, I do so much with the LC2 chairperson because it is at that level that I'm involved. The LC2 chairperson, he chairs the PDC, the Parish Development Committee. They have a role to play. When the BOG generates the list, the mayor had produced here, it is then sent to the PDC. The chairperson is the LC2 chairperson, and then the secretary is the parish chief. He is the secretary of that committee. They have files of beneficiaries from all these groups. So they look at this list, they produce, they get out their files. They check whether so and so is from this file and from this cell.
Okay.
It is their role. Then there's also loan committee. Is also involved at that level. They also do verification. For loan committee, they go to the beneficiary homestead. There's a GPS being put at that particular home. The activities that take place at that particular time is to ascertain whether this is a bona fide beneficiary. Because, for example, me, Onzima Rashid, I am not a beneficiary of PDM. By Ugandan standards, I live above poverty line. So it is for the poor who are supposed to get this money. So it is their role to see that this homestead really benefits to get that money.
Okay.
That is their role. And then the GPS is put there because at a later time, if they want to allocate this homestead, it is easier to do it. That is where it is done. So when the LC2 chairperson called me, he told me there's a problem. I said, what is the problem? He told me money is being given out without the due process. As he had explained, after the PDC and the loan committee ascertaining and verifying, the document is taken to the focal point person, which is the production officer. He also has all those files there.
Okay.
So he checks from the files.
Could it be a mistake right from the development of the program, or it is just the negligence of the leaders, or it is by purpose that they need to do so?
I think it is.
Because somebody may say it is the system's failure to actually detect the GPS, how it works, or else it is the leaders who did this purposely. Where could this be maybe emerging from? Because we need to understand what exactly happened in Kenya Ward. Because I was on ground, let me tell you, I was on ground, I was able to find out right from the ordinary persons. We had women with disability complaining that they did not receive the money. Our young girls who are out there lacking what to do, we are able to sort of complain they did not receive the money, much as they needed the money. Old women were not spared. Who exactly was also really in the cause of this mess here? Because we need to understand who exactly was behind this mess of the PDM that we did see happen in Kenya Ward. What happened?
Moderator, there is a certain factor we needed to take in.
So what is that fact? That's why we're here. What's that fact?
Not everybody can get this money once. This is one fact. Everybody must understand in Uganda that the money we are giving, you can't give money to all the beneficiaries once. We have got a number of beneficiaries in the system that did not get the money because the money that was given to date now is 216 million, and we have more than 1,000 beneficiaries in Kenya Ward. So the truth is not everybody can get this money once. This is one fact we needed to accept. But the irregularities, I think, came from a deliberate move by the BOG executive to do dubious works in PDM. First of all, it is supposed to be their role to see that they go through the due process of verifying taking this document from one office to the other to verify that these are the rightful beneficiaries. And then the problem, I think, emanated from just the executive of BOG. Because the PDC is also equally not aware of what happened. They came to realize that their beneficiaries who are now confessing, well, I've received the money. Now, the PDC was asking, how did you receive money without verification? It is not from the inception of PDM.
Okay.
The intentions were very clear. To see that every Ugandan gets 1 million to do something to raise the standard of living.
Okay.
To improve the income of households. So it is from this particular group that the problem emanated from.
Okay.
Yes.
Now in just 2 minutes, let me bring on back Honorable Muzaid Kemis to make us understand what exactly happened and what is being also done to make sure that those who are part of also the beneficiaries get the money. Because you cannot tell me somebody from Pangisa Ward benefits from Kenya Ward and we should just close an eye. Somebody from Tanganyika benefits from Kenya Ward. Somebody deep down in Aivu, down in Antuparaka benefits, because these are delegations that were raised also during our search in there. And how the strategies maybe you are leaving to also make sure that those who are seeking to get the money, because Parish model is actually meant for the vulnerable poor members who in Kenya Ward are very many.
What strategies? I had clearly said from minute one that we at council, we were playing pillar 7 of governance and administration. And I was given directive in our executive meeting to go and verify issues regarding PDM. Indeed, when we went to Kenya and we realized these were some of the resolutions that we had already taken, then the 28 people who are not the bona fide beneficiaries of Kenya must return that money to the box account, so that new beneficiaries must be identified from the enterprise groups. That was the first step we had come up with, and that is what made us to go on the ground and do verification of those people, whether they are the right beneficiaries or not. So it is in our resolution that the beneficiaries must be given the money. The real beneficiaries are those people within the parish. Number 2, some of the issues now tend to be more criminal. They are more criminal. I might not handle them. I might rather fight for the right of the stigmatized. I must fight for their right. You saw the lady saying she was asked for sex. Was it justifiable for the BOG and the PDCs to do that? And then the key members of the society, was it justifiable? The law must take it into course. The various stakeholders, as I explained, must come in to provide these women justice. The women have been denied justice and their right by asking for sex in relation to PDM. So the second strategy on what to do was these women who are stigmatized by these various leaders who had the positions and they want to misuse these positions must be brought to order. For us, I had played my role of plus 7 to go and do verification, and we have seen with the clear evidences the mistakes that had happened.
Okay.
The various stakeholders must take in. They have already opened the door. And that is not only in Arua, this must open eyes of all the mayors, LC5 chairpersons, and the rest of LC3 chairpersons in Uganda to understand that there is a problem in PDM.
Okay.
By the way, I want to have this. As my councillor said, Kenya Ward was the first to receive PDM, and things went well. I am again now going on the ground to do backward check of why these people got money first. Was the procedures followed? Were they right beneficiaries?
Okay.
Because if 116 million was given for Kenya, we have got 10 cells. That means I expected 16 beneficiaries from each cell.
Okay.
To get that. But I have evidence in one home.
Over 10.
Over 10 people.
Okay.
Even this current one. In the treasurer's home, the treasurer's wife, husband,
Okay.
works with an NGO. And I'm going to write to that NGO, by the way. For their staff being in discipline. Because he's living above poverty line. But he was able to get the money. I'm going to write to that NGO. Unless he comes to apologize publicly.
And they refund the money.
And they refund the money.
Okay, we are taking a commercial break.
Thank you.
And we shall be returning with more of that discussion to make sure what happens in Kenya 1 does not happen or repeat itself in any other ward that we are having in a rural city, because the campaign is to make sure that sanity returns back to the city, but also something that happened following also really what happened following also really the outcome of the demonstration was that people are terming this to be political. You will be answering that in our next also half in there. But for now, dear viewer, we are taking a short commercial break. Stay tuned. We are still also with the people and want to make sure that we hold them accountable, because there's nobody who can hold them accountable on your behalf, but rather the media, and they have to answer these allegations, and that's why we are going to be asking them the question. And as the viewer, if you have any question you want front there too, feel free to use our comment section on YouTube, on Facebook, and I will be in position to also really get through that. And for those who are also using the SMS, I will be also really checking it through that SMS line that is scrolling on your screen later on. But for now, we take a short commercial break as we bounce back shortly.
Mbappe! Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, the team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to Star Times Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. Star Times Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. Our time is almost up. We are running out of time, but that is where we need to solely understand what exactly is happening in Kenya Ward, because a lot of issues were actually manifested in our also movement to also make sure that we assess what is really happening in Kenya Ward. I believe what's happening in Kenya Ward could be happening elsewhere in the rest of the wards within Arua City, and that means we are going to be stringing in action to make sure that whatever is wrong which is also happening in relation to PDM does not happen and also repeat itself in Kenya Ward and in the rest of the wards, because we need to bring sanity to Arua City, and that's how we are going to be doing that. And we started with Kenya Ward, and this will go to the rest of the leaders and those involved in PDM in the rest of the wards. We are going to be coming in there on really what happened in Kenya Ward. We were able to find out that issues of sex for PDM very much featured, and really one person actually came out to talk about that. Let's first get to hear what the lady, whom I believe could just be 1 in a million, representing the views of 1,000 women out there who could be suffering from the same vice. She actually said this about the saga we call PDM for sex.
Last time when they want to give us money, Mr. Ijaga asked sex from us. Then from there, they did not give for us money. Up to now, we are here. We are suffering down here without, we are not working, we are just like that. Even my sister, this man is called Ru. Even Gule came up to my sister's home. He told my sister he will give my sister money, but after removing the money, my sister will give her 400. My sister refused from there.
Yes, that is her when it comes to being asked for something. You either give me that thing and I give you money. That's what exactly happened, but we did not pray for that. And we strongly condemn that, and we believe the leaders who are actually behind this should be able to also answer this allegation. But now, unfortunately, we are seeing the whole event taking a new twist, where people are getting to politicize this, because they said, Mayor, you're actually looking for votes. That's why you moved there, but not to also do an oversight. What can you say about that?
Mayor looking for votes. I looked for my votes a long time ago.
Okay.
And what I'm doing here is one of the key pillars of PDM. It doesn't involve any issue concerning votes. I want you. I like you journalists very much. I want you to. By the way, I want the viewers to listen to me. That the people who claim that this issue was politicized, the people who are blaming Matua, I am saying no. From this invitation here, I did it myself. I called for executive meeting. The executive resolved for me to have another meeting. Another meeting resolved me to call the people of Kenya when we had problems that we realized there was nothing like people having any political interest. We were doing our cardinal role as executive of monitoring and overseeing other issues related. By the way, the demonstration that you saw here in the Mayor's Garden happened in my office.
Okay.
When I had this meeting of 22nd of Thursday, these people went to my office. They stormed my office, the same group. Except that for me, I was more logical. I knew that they were going to touch a wrong button. I kept quiet. I was for executive meeting. They stormed my office. I can identify the people among those who demonstrated. They were in my office. Why did they go?
Are these from Kenya Ward?
They're not from Kenya Ward. People like my sister Mai, is she from Kenya Ward?
Okay.
People like my brother Mansuru, are they from Kenya Ward? I know all those who stood one by one. They are not from Kenya Ward. Majority of them are not from Kenya Ward. Unlike this lady who had the placard and was saying she's a beneficiary. Actually, she's a teacher in Jacob Primary School. In actual sense, she's not supposed to be a beneficiary. This issue of PDM has no relationship with the politics. Now, that lady who said the chairperson asked for sex, and this is the chairperson of PDC, whom I invited for meeting.
Okay.
We had realized these issues were coming. We wanted to go and solve them indoors. But at the end, they did not want. The same group stormed my office. We said, okay, let's come on the ground to verify. All those messages came. Indeed, I want to request and I want to ask for support from all stakeholders. This lady who came out and spoke, she has spoken on behalf of all the ladies in Uganda, all the women who are stigmatized in Uganda. We must take her into consideration. She's actually a hero in PDM. She's a hero in PDM to come out and say that I was asked for sex. And when she did not accept that sex, she was denied. This lady is a hero. Actually, the government and the rest of the stakeholders needed to take her into serious consideration. And she benefits more in this manner than she has spoken in millions and millions of these women in Uganda.
Now that brings the question, how many people actually gave in their bodies? That's now what we need to investigate.
That is a very
because one person may say no, but what about the rest?
Because for me, for now in the Kenya ward, there are 4 women who have come to testify to me.
Okay.
And they have requested, by virtue of God's creation of women, they fear some of these things. But the 4 came to me and said, I was asked for sex. I was asked for sex.
Did they give?
Those who are speaking are the ones who did not give.
Okay. What about the ones who gave? How many are they now?
That is the question. That is why I was telling Onjima, now that we needed to go back. Because I have checked the beneficiary list of those 100 people. I have seen in one home of NLC around 12 beneficiaries, or to 7 to 8 beneficiaries. I've seen it. One home. One home. Already the madam teacher is saying she's a beneficiary. That means that she was wrongly paid. She needed to give that money back to the poor. So a lot of irregularities have happened in this PDM. This one lady who came out boldly and spoken, she's a hero.
Okay.
She's a hero. That is what particularly I'm trying to say. But we are going to make sure that this lady must be protected. I don't know why my colleague security members are seriously not carrying this investigation. We really needed to conclude these findings because somebody coming openly and speaking that. This is a very serious matter, my brother Farish. It is not an issue that Muzaidi will sit over it. I will continue speaking unless the various stakeholders are not interested. They are happy of seeing women being used in any government. If we who are sitting mayors, if we were to begin to have such kind of behaviors, how many wrong things would have we done? Me, I'm a sitting mayor. I would have used this PDM more political than any other person who is outside there claiming. But I did not do that because I know it is going to jeopardize my position. Okay. I made sure that I must do the rightest thing. So kindly, I want to request that the people who came and demonstrated, you have demonstrated wrongly. You have made the wrong decision. You have exposed your candidate very badly. That is somebody who supports corruption. Okay, and when even the president is fighting corruption, when all of us are out fighting for corruption.
Now that's when I want to bring now Onjima back. I want to engage him now to find out how the irregularities, of course, affect the people of Kenya Ward. Does it have an impact on the people of Kenya Ward, or there's nothing? It's business as usual.
My brother, when you are supposed to benefit and you don't benefit, you are affected grossly.
Okay.
It has affected the people of Kenya. there's one factor that Kenya is one of the densely populated wards in Central Division. And in an event where this money is not even enough, and you find somebody is being picked from Uluko to benefit. You know, we needed to put this clear to the viewers that PDM is not a pilot project which is being piloted in Kenya ward. PDM is everywhere. If you are in Uluko, there's PDM there. You can benefit from PDM in Uluko. I happened to call a beneficiary in the list, a lady. I told her, you are a beneficiary in PDM. She said, yes. I said, we are verifying the beneficiaries. I'm in Kebiri cell. She said, is that you know where Kebiri cell is? And she's a beneficiary from Kebiri cell. Okay. So you can see all this. And so we are densely populated. There are and the most poorest actually in all the wards.
Still talking about Kebiri cell, we are there. I actually personally moved in there. One of the beneficiaries, a person living with disability, a visually impaired lady, came out to say she has not received this money. They did whatever it takes to make sure they get this money. How are we going to make sure that such people who are out there get the money that they need?
See, in PDM is designed in a way that there are percentages of beneficiaries. If at all, we are given 100 million. 30% of the beneficiaries are supposed to be women. 30% of the beneficiaries are supposed to be youth. 10% people with disabilities. And then the rest is for the adults. Okay. That is the percentage of PDM.
But have we tried following that?
When you look at what is happening in the first beneficiary list,
that may be in the plans. Yes. But when it comes to the ground, have we followed that?
At the first, yes, PDM was shared that way.
Okay. Then
but when the second bars and the third one, when you look at these documents, it is not the way it is supposed to be. The percentages are not correct. Yeah, so this is where
you can have it here.
Okay.
That in this list that we're investigating, women are 23.
23. These are
men are 9, and the youth are 15. Yes. Meaning that the disabled people have been marginalized.
They are not here.
The elders are supposed to be 10%.
The elders are supposed to be 10%. Now, these are the irregularities that we have been talking about. And that lady was very, very right. You still want to speak with empirical evidence.
Okay. So have we tried to engage these ladies who are there, who are now losing trust in this government project? Because I believe this is going to be having an impact on how this government is attended. Because this is a government project aiming at eradicating poverty at household levels.
Yes.
What are you doing to make sure that this does not go on? Because we need to understand the gist of everything. So people who are there are losing the trust in this government project, and those who are still waiting should continue waiting.
Yes, I called a meeting on Sunday with all the LC ones of the 10 cells. We sat and we had the resolutions. One of our resolutions is to have baraza meetings in every ward, every cell per se, so that we tell the beneficiaries, the residents, that they should have hope. And whatever we are going to recover from these ghosty beneficiaries, we are supposed to give it to those people who are supposed to benefit, especially the vision impaired. Is already in the list, is in the system. So we wanted to start with them. Those ones who were marginalized, who were asked sex for in exchange of the money and they didn't receive, they are supposed to be the first people to benefit. So we are going to have baraza meetings in every cell, in all the 10 cells. We shall invite all the stakeholders, including the media, to cover up what we are going to say, what we are going to tell we also want to all the focal point persons to be there, so that they tell the residents, the beneficiaries, what is PDM, how is supposed to be. What I realize is that a number of our people don't understand PDM. Even some of the leaders don't understand PDM because they have not been involved so much in it. So this is an ample time we wanted to use to see that we educate the masses about PDM in Kenya ward, cell per cell, and this is what we are going to do.
Okay, now that brings me to the question, is there an impact on so far those who are benefited?
Yes, there's an impact.
Okay.
We have a number of people who can testify what the money has done for them. One of our youth who got the money engaged into poultry We even get chicken from him now.
Okay.
His chicken are right.
That's
we are
very
getting
good.
chicken from him. So there are people who can testify what this money actually has done for them.
Okay.
But it is also very unfortunate that some people tend to use this money for their own use and they don't make use of this money. One of the lady I interviewed told me he made for her she did plaster for the building. Now how are you going to recover this money? It becomes very difficult. So it is a deliberate move by government to see that this money is given to the marginalized. But the truth is we needed to give it to somebody who can do something with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think here we needed to educate the masses how you are supposed to use this money. I think the commercial officers needed to have a program for these people to educate them on the saving culture, what you can do with this, maybe educate them on business skills before they are given this money.
Financial literacy.
Yes.
Was it not done before because this is the
It is not done.
Okay.
It is not done. And it needed to be done. So that when somebody receives the money, he has knowledge of what he wants it to do.
Okay.
Yes.
As we're running out of time now, let me engage back the mayor. This happened in Kenya Ward. Are we seeing similar campaigns being taken, let's say, to Tanganyika Ward? Shall we expect the same in Pagisha? Should we expect the same in all the wards of Central Division?
For the
because this Kenya Ward could just be a sample, maybe sample study. For the viewers, it is not my first time to do these background checkups. I was there was likelihood of the same problem that we realized in Awindiri Ward. Near the mosque, we had a very big community baraza meeting over that, and cautions. I made cautions to the PDC chairperson because in the home of the PDC chairperson there were also 80 beneficiaries, and there was also allegations over the BOG chairperson of Awindiri. We went open with the community, and I told him. Even that time the media was there. Mr. Usta was there covering. I was so open to him to stop it. In the Pangisa Ward, you realize what happened. You heard of people being arrested in the Pangisa Ward. Okay. You heard about that when the town agent and the BOG chairperson were arrested and they were released on bond. You heard about that story. Baza is moving very well. I also had a meeting with them. They had success stories. Right now, Tanganyika. Though there were some problems, I also had engaged all the BOG chairpersons and the PDCs of Tanganyika and their members. We handled it because for Tanganyika, the treasurer was refusing to approve, saying that unless he's a beneficiary. Okay. So some of those minor backgrounds, I checked them in those parishes. Okay. But this one here of Kenya now must be an open eye even for me. Okay. That is still, I needed to go and do more background check on the beneficiaries. Okay. I needed to go and talk more individually, more and more with the beneficiary and get their. Okay. As we're running out of time, I really want to understand something. Are these leaders who are handling this cash paid? Yeah. Because if you talk about extortion, because I think there's money. Because there was a scenario where somebody said, "I'm going to give you the 1 million, but the 400,000 is mine." That is actually total corruption. Because there is money for PDCs and there is money for BOG that comes quarterly with those releases. There is money for them. Actually, what they are doing is very wrong that we need to condemn and we should not accept it. Okay. Yeah. They are paid. There is some percentage there. Okay. Yeah. And as we're running out of time, we just left about 4 minutes. Your final words? My final word is PDM for sex must stop in Central Division. If PDM is going to continue for sex, either there should be no PDM or the BOG chairpersons must be brought to order. They must be brought to order. PDM for sex, PDM for pajama must stop. That is my last word for the people of Central Division. Okay, they must stop it. Okay, Honorable Njima, your parting thoughts? Yes, thank you. I think we needed to put some of these things right. That Matua, as an assistant RSCC, has a duty to perform. Okay. As far as PDM is concerned. And I don't think there's anybody who can stop this gentleman from doing his role because he's sent here for a purpose to fight corruption. And these corrupt officials must stop. I think if we were to remind the viewers, Matua has 3 cardinal roles. 1, to promote patriotism, 2, promote government programs, and 3, to fight corruption, which he's doing so. This is his role. Okay. And what I want also to put categorically clear is the people who demonstrated are not people from Kenya. Okay. These are ghost beneficiaries who went and got money
wrongly from Kenya Ward.
Okay.
So they are trying to cover it up.
Okay.
So we are not going to stop here. We shall see. We want justice for the people of Kenya Ward.
Okay, that is it. And dear viewer, with that we come to the end of today's discussions, and we want to wish you the very best. And after here, we shall be having the as a news bulletin with Fete Manuel, whom I must say is already in the house, and we are going to follow up on such issues. And if at all, as the viewer, you could be seeing the same, feel free to let us know, because we shall come out and investigate on your behalf, because it is us to make sure there is transparency in all these government programs. And really with that, I want to now thank the two guest gentlemen for coming through and also throwing some light on this issue, which in the last 2 weeks has been also there in the limelight, where people have been talking about the issues of PDM in Kenya Ward. At least today, they have elaborated, so explained, and we hope this also does not only stop in Kenya Ward. We want to see it the same also be extended to the rest of the wards in the rural city and the rest of the districts also in there, because we want to see the same exercise be conducted in the other local governments. Let's say in Zombo, let's say in Yumbe district, let's say in Marioko, let's say in Terego. All that also should be ensured there is transparency, because we may be talking about this in Kenya Ward, not knowing the same is actually happening deep down in our village and ward. That brings us to the end of today's discussions, and I want to say thank you so much to the viewer. And with that, we come to the end of today's program, and we shall be bouncing back again tomorrow with the same program and the same time with the same host. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
KOKOLIRIKO live nirma aliam tualo atamba Faris Majid Bem ama mesunga eyonde matrikulukulu di rakaka
Ejo de kulukulu de ma aliam pa azi sukulu anzi azi esuzu sukulu maputiam Kanisa Agape inzi ele kaliriram Odumi FC ta Robiara Klabu Atizum Amamesiki Ejonda Imadiatiarin
Lapi midure miombe marusi feta Emmanuel A. Andu simbodu erina mboromi ilelifri kaldni su. Ba azi ejo sukulu anzi azi drisri o nizodi matia jozokini hinga azi drisri mavutia onitar mavutia azi esura zibadi eridileka jumani district ya de sawa bani kokobi sukulu lazore fezo anzi ndedi drili same anibazi sukulu anzi de jozokini kokobidima esutaboro mavutia inga azi esura ete kokoro mesuki odukotinir matriare
Sukulu anzi sukulu deba moyo district ya dim anzi sukulu deba de dajeni azieritse mimasima oti azinga za sekum de ini sukulu ni daziboro mavutia sukulu tuni bani aleniam azinga ledrisiri mbazuruma alia di amutombele wendele niri oto niri ma alia ba awa kokobi ibini indi ani atamba menya ayub ovupi enduru aradisi moyari yokini anzi sukulu daba toro alo kalina di drikini sukulu laza mabutia yinga orodri azinga zuri esuram nze ejodi sawa ini drikuzu sukulu anzinde di bem di moyo pipozo holwam